Bowers welcoming you to this forum on education. It's a presentation of the Chamber. They organize these forums and it's presented in cooperation with E+ TV6. We're talking to candidates for Board of Education in Jackson, Madison County. And in this segment, we are talking to candidates for District 6, Position 2, which was represented originally by Morris Merriweather. So this will be filling a term, and then it'll be up for election again in 2 years. Our two candidates are Darnell and Shelia Godwin. It's good to see you both.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Appreciate both of you doing it. Always begin with asking about the district because I find them confusing and many people do. And sometimes they don't know till they get to the polling place whether or not they're in a district that's up for election and see the names that are there. So Andre, when you're talking to people, how do you describe District 6?
Well, District 6 is a large district, in Jackson. And so usually I try to take people to the Go Vote Tennessee app and see that way they can enter the address and determine where the location is, who are the candidates. But the actual district spans far out to Charles Latham's subdivision. It goes all the way down into the near the Washington Douglas subdivision area. It comes up, actually up around East Chester to Howland, but it goes all the way, expands all the way up in the mall area, as well as past Van Drive up to Ramblewood. It's a large area. Only it divides through Ramblewood neighborhood subdivision, but it loops back around all the way until you get basically to I-70, and it goes back to Hurst Chapel. It's a large, from Hurst Chapel to Potts Chapel.
Right. Sheila, how do you describe the district when you're talking to people?
Well, I would like to first say, the district, I want to say it includes the voting polls. It includes Alexander, Altegate, Macedonia, Whitehall, Mount Moriah, JCT, East Union.
Wow.
It's a huge district, as everything Andre, Mr. Daniel have stated. To me, you can start at the left, go all the way down Howland to Ridge Crest, come make a right on Ridge Crest, go all the way to Highway 70, come back up, and then even go to Lake Graham area, like out East Chester. You really can't tell how they drew the district, but again, it's a large district, and I hit places like Forest Hill, Overton, East Chester, Alton Heights, Washington Douglas areas. It compasses a lot of ground.
Okay, wow.
But the thing about it, it's a diverse area. So you have all types of people in that area, and even taking again, the mall areas, portions of that.
How many schools were in that district? How many schools were in the district?
Alexander, you have the ones I just called, right. Whitehall, Macedonia, JCM. You have Early College High. You have Andrew Jackson. You have Andre probably can think of some more. You have Liberty. You have
wow. All schools. Andre, you've muted yourself, so if you'll unmute.
Okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
There we go. All right. Okay. Well, let's start. And Andre, start with you. Why did you get in this race, and what do you think are the important issues or are the key issue for you?
Well, I basically just started hearing the concerns from the voters. I had a lot of voters that would come in and ask if I would consider running in this position. As a previous last year when I did a run in city council, a lot of the people were having a concern with the school board. If some people may not know, I started a 501c3 organization, the JCM Coalition, which is a school support organization for JCM Early College High, ever since the Vision 2020 to actually be a support group for that school. Once that school is shut down, we was very instrumental in bringing that early college program to JCM Early College, to JCM, to rebrand that school. And I knew as a school board member, I could step out and try to still reach back to those community members as voters and try to bridge make that bridge between the public schools and the community, and create other programs, and turn their concerns into the board and be a voice for that district. And I feel that I could be the best representation for the district as a school board member.
Sheila, why did you decide to get in this race, and what do you see as important?
You know, I decided to get in this race because I feel that I'm the right person at the right time to represent this district. I moved in this district in 1988 while going to Lane College, and I've lived all over the district. And my kids went to this district. I go to church in this district. So I think the most important thing in this district right now would be bringing families and children together for the betterment of their kids, and working cohesive with the staff and the school system to improve grades and education.
Okay. What do you see as key in making that happen, Sheila, getting people involved? Because that's something we hear a lot, that people are not as involved in the systems they need to be.
One of my first things that I plan to do, because I have I was co-founder of the Village. I worked as a grant writer with Bobby Perry with A Vision for You. So one of my first things that I would like to do is organize a support group, a community citizens parent support group, and get parents together, and kind of people get together and communicate with each other, and also communicate their concerns, and see what we can do to form a better relationship between the parents, the children, and the school system in District 6, and even outside of District 6, you know. So in that way, we want, you know, I find that a lot of times we have a misunderstanding, we don't know what's going on. And I think when we form this organization, this group, and connect people in District 6, they will understand each other, and they will find out ways in order they can help better their kids in a relationship with the staff, the principal, the superintendent, the board members, everybody, you know. One of the things I really hate, and I'm gonna say this and make it, is they took parents from public meetings and put them on another night and took the focus off their concerns. So the only means is through board members, as far as trying to be a voice for those people and the parents and the children.
Okay. Andre, you've been involved, obviously, in trying to get groups together. What's the key to making that happen?
Well, I think just being transparent, communicating with community leaders, and being a voice. I think the whole issue that we had even back in our organization time, we realized that we was not organized as a community, and I think that add to the just the decision of removing the school at that time. And I think even now, by being an example and showing by organizing, providing back to the community, is a great example to other people in the community. It shows that you're able to lead. And I think that's the best example, is to lead by example. Have some organization when you're setting up your meetings, your platforms. And I just want to be the person who is reaching out, taking those concerns, using my technical expertise, just a analytical thinking when it comes to decision making, and just being a voice for people. I think that's the best you can do.
When you look at Vision 2020, because you referenced Vision 2020, was that a good thing, or how do you feel about looking at it now and where we are?
Well, overall, I didn't think it was a good thing that happened. I knew what was going on. It was a case of either rebuilding buildings or changing our curriculum. I think our curriculum has developed under the leadership of Dr. Jones, and as well as interim Ray Washington. And I think they've done a great job. The great thing that I saw basically come out of it was the birth of JCM Early College High. I think that actually changed the brand of the school, and because of the success, during that whole issue, we actually met with the school board at that time and presented Plan C. They initially had JCM wiped out completely, but by bringing that Plan C to the board, which would mean bring the early college program, as well as over a couple of years, if the program expands, we could possibly go back into the East Campus, a redeveloped, renovated school. And due to the development that happened in the community with that actually is going through now. So I think there was a good thing that came out of it as for the JCM. Now I would love to see other schools develop us to expand in that platform as well. But I think there couldn't be any good that comes out of a bad.
Sheila, I know you followed this because you're at the meetings. When
I
you look at
listened to
Vision,
that. I
when you look at
listened,
Vision
I
2020
listened.
now, how does it look to you?
I'm the opposite of Mr. Darnell, of Andre. I feel that first of all, I push to keep high school JC in the city. I push not to take kids all the way out to Liberty and North Side. I push to keep them there, and I feel that and it proves out to be true. Now we're gonna bring JCM back to the inner city. I felt that they didn't need alternative plan. Now, I do feel that early college high is a success story out of it, but I believe the only reason they're bringing it back is because of discipline problems and because the kids been out of the environment. So again, I pushed. I wasn't for a whole lot of closing schools and then reopening them. You know, other schools. I was against the vision plan. Now putting the plan in and not completing it. I want to look at the long range short plan when I hopefully get elected. But the bottom line is Vision 22 has not worked. It's worked for some things as far as buildings, but we need to educate kids. After a while, we can't keep building buildings and kids not getting educated. So we differ on that. Even though he was a part of that, or see, I've been working here a long time. I've been going to these meetings. I've been listening to them. But it's been a turnover in superintendents. Every time a superintendent comes, there's a change. So we need to get on the same page. We need to make superintendents. If you say you're gonna stay here for a period of time, you need to stay here. You know, we can't jump the ship. So I agree with Andre as far as early college high. You know, that's a good school, but I disagree with the way it should have started. JCM should never been pushed out.
Okay. Now that we are where we are, what is the next step, Sheila? What do you want to see this system do?
Is that to me?
Yes.
Okay. Now
we are building. We are going to build a new JCM. We got Madison Academic. We got these things in place.
Where do
we go from here?
To be totally honest with you, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like the way they're building JCM. I don't think it's right to build a partial JCM like they did Whitehall. I've been in every school in District 6. Every school. I'm a substitute teacher. I've been there, and even in Whitehall, partial building is functioning, and the other part is not. That's not right. JCM right now they putting a new a cosmetic on it as far as the front entrance and the windows and all of that. That's a lot of money for not a new school. So I feel the JCM need a new school. So my push is I'm gonna go in, find out what's going on, read and listen and support. But I think that it's not fair to build Madison, build a school early college house, a school over on Lamar campus, and not do more for JCM when you said 15 years ago it had an asbestos problem. That's what they said. Now I don't even hear about the problems, and we don't have a problem no more. Is that how it works? So I'm just going, as a new board member, I'm gonna read, listen to my constituents, and find out what where we're going right and where we're going wrong, and hopefully we can meet in the middle of the road.
Okay, Andre, how do you feel about where we are and where do we need to go from here?
Okay, well, I'm excited for our new superintendent that has joined, Dr. King. I like the vision that he's presenting so far with the new school rollout and the information that are going to our teachers. I'm excited to see about the new schools, exactly as you would assume. I think it's going to be a great thing for the community. I would love to see us get more partnerships with our community leaders, as well as with the city and the county commission, how they work together to build those schools. But I would like to see us have more unity with that within the community, so we can make sure that we're developing new state-of-the-art educational institutions in our city, and as well as building our infrastructure in the city, so we can have our online learning if possible. With the whole COVID-19 issue that's going on now, I think our biggest issue now is to build up our infrastructure in online learning, as well as make sure that we're doing our building and all of the projects are proceeding. But I would love to see a lot of the online continue the rest of this year myself.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, just until January. Make sure that we have all of our safety sanitations in place, making sure that all of our PPE is in place, that it's not a case where we're starting and waiting for materials to come in. I would like to just ensure that everything is safe, that we have our numbers intact. And I would love to see some partnership, like I said, even with JEA. I think every household that has children in our public school system should possibly receive some type of voucher or free internet access. That will build our infrastructure to allow kids to have that internet when they do their work.
Sheila, how you feel about the online learning and our approach to this? Should that be permanent, expand, or?
Well, you know, as far as online learning, my grandson in Atlanta had online learning, and he did well. Memphis City School System going all the way with online learning. I think it's good if the child needs are met. When I'm saying you have to have more than online learning as far as, you know, online, somewhere you may have to come out and work with the child, because I don't know how easy it is to teach math and subjects like that online.
Yeah.
So I think as far as keeping kids safe is excellent. But as far as meeting the needs, educational needs that we need to meet with the same guidelines we have, I have a first remark about that. But I am ready and willing and able to wherever we go to be a partner, to be a voice, and be cohesive with the other board members and the parents, the staff, and everyone involved in this process.
I want to ask you both, because you've talked about the importance of the academics, and that's where we are. We have some schools that have tested very, very well, and have been recognized by the state. Some have improved. How do we get that done on every campus?
You know, we have a I think let each individual principal handle their own office. I think some things should be more uniform as far as doing some of the things and working together with each principal, and certain things should be, you know, doing things standard. As for how we get it done, I think we need to lead by example. One of the worst things I've seen, we concentrate on buildings, but we don't concentrate on learning to get along with each other. As a board, I would like to help to bring about, first of all, be positive myself, more board members getting along, and not just acting the part, but doing the part, being respectful, respect each other for what you believe. But I just think it takes working together, putting yourself where the other person is, and just being more understanding, and focusing in together on what goals you need to meet, measurement.
Andrew, what do you see as key to getting all of our campuses up and performing academically?
Oh, you said what is it?
I was asking Andre.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I think it starts by us having a consistency in our administration. Like I say, I'm happy to see our new Dr. King, who is our superior educator, and that's basically what the school board does. We locate someone who is great in education and to come back and run our district. And as a school board member, I'm excited to see where we've been going. I would like to see much improvement. I think this will all be up under determine how our administration is handling our curriculum within our school district. I think as a board member, it's important that we ensure that the metrics are being met, that students are performing as such, and if not, we are holding our superintendent or the administration accountable. I think that even with the whole COVID-19, the way that they did some of the testing, even not requiring the SAT to continue your college education, I think that's a part of determining how do we move forward when it comes to our tests? Even here locally in Lane College, they don't require we don't require actually a SAT to attend. So I think sometimes when the over testing can be an issue, I would love to make sure that when we're doing those testing, any testing that is designed more towards the area and the demographic versus a national test is given out, and to ensure the way that we're scaling and judging or determining students in the classroom. Even now, being in the class is part of our funding that comes from our state. It's based on the students being in that class. So there's a lot of policies that I think needs to be rethought. We shouldn't be considering that as a way of funding our schools district. But I think our testing will be determined by our new leadership and how we move forward. And I think that we need to have a consistent overall scheme and project when we're moving forward in developing those.
One thing that I found interesting this week was the report from the school system that they've already had over 4,500 students request to go online or virtual learning.
Right.
So it's going to be a significant part. Apparently, that's with still a few days to go to the deadline as we do this program.
That's right. I mean, even with the way the numbers are going up, I mean, we don't know if what the future holds. But one thing we do know, if we start with the online and eventually develop back into in person, if something happened, we don't interfere with the learning like we did in the spring that happened, and it just threw our whole system in disarray. But this would allow students to keep progressing in their education, because I truly believe it's all about us educating our students, not making sure that our students are in a school building.
I want to ask you both, because one question is coming up. We made initiatives to build a new K through 8 in the Pope area. Is that a good idea? Is something you'll support, or something you have reservations about?
I support building a new K through 8. I've served in that school, and it's an old school, and they deserve a new school.
Okay, Andre?
Yes, I agree with that expansion. With that area growing the way it has been growing, we need to develop a new K through 8 as well as our high school.
The Board of Education is not the funding body, and so that puts it in a relationship with the county commission. I know both of you have been following that. What is the key to that relationship as far as you see it in the future, Sheila?
Relationship building
With the county, county commission,
and with the county commission, between the school board and county commission. The main thing is to show that what you're asking for is really what you really need, as far as with the line items and the things that they ask. I believe the county commission will fund you if you can show that you're also being you're managing well already. So I've seen them support some. I've seen them not support superintendents, and I've seen them be ready to support superintendents and have relationships. So I think it's all in the paperwork. I think it's all how you present yourself to the commission, and I just think it's keeping an open door policy between the two, and basically that's it. And just making sure what you're asking for is really what you need, and you're managing your money well.
Andre, how do you see that relationship, or what's key to it?
I agree. I think it's all about building those relationships, showing that as a board we are being good stewards of of the funds that we are responsible for. I think that making sure that we provide a strong 10-year, 5-year budget plan and hold on to that plan, not making a lot of changes throughout the year. I think the needs should all be brought out up front. Long term, the true desire for the city really needs to be rolled out, and I think at that time we can receive the funding that we need. But I think it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of progressive thoughts when it comes to moving forward in the city.
I've been given notice that we're into our final 5 minutes, so I want to give both of you an opportunity to wrap this up. Sheila, whatever you consider most important in this campaign, or whatever you want to say.
Yes, voters, I need your vote. I want to be the advocate for your children and be accessible. I have a belief in brighter futures for all children. I want to be cooperative and believe that I can make good decisions for all children. And I want to work with you. Right now, during the COVID crisis, I want to say that, you know, I know a lot of kids are going online, but there's a lot of kids going to have to go because of the fact that that's what the poverty rate divide. I think in Madison County, I haven't heard if they're going to offer computers, but I talked to a parent. He said he was not returning back. He was going to buy his child a computer. Poor kids can't afford computers, so that means more than likely a lot of kids that's underprivileged will be back in the school system. But we want to make sure that they get a fair education, and that every child need is being met. District 6, I need you to vote for me. I lived in District 6. I worked in District 6. I went to college in District 6. My children, I have a child during the time I was born doing District 6. My grandkids, my children went to school also in District 6. I want to be your next school board member. And if you allow me to be that, I will be the voice. I'll be your earpiece and I'll be your mouthpiece, but I will be a voice for you.
Thank you very much, Sheila. Andre?
Well, I believe that I'm the best. I have the best interest for the students as well as the Jackson-Madison County School System. As a school board member, I will aid and assist in a cohesive governance, when governance as a school board. I believe that every school, every district should have the infrastructure, the abilities to supply and educate all of our students. I know that I will be the best representation for the district, speaking up on all of their concerns and everything that is rolling out. I have been a person who realized that it's not all just a district, but it requires the community. And I have done that in my actions by organizing, and I would love to assist and work with every community leader, community voters, and organizing and having the things that they would like to see at their school, as well as being a activist community board leader who's bringing programs and different things for each school that I am responsible for. I will not just be someone that you see only on TV at the board meeting, but you will see in the community as well. As being just a former member of the Madison County Executive Committee with the Democratic Executive Committee and being involved in that political action, I've always been involved in the community and trying to keep the voters involved and informing them truly what's happening. And as a school board member, I will do that in this district and for this city.
Okay. I want to thank you both for doing this. It's been a pleasure doing this. Sheila and Andre, best to both of you. Thanks a lot. Appreciate the chamber putting this together and your cooperation. So on behalf of the chamber and E+TV6, thank you both. And best of luck. The election August 6th, advance vote ends August 1st. So be sure to go vote. Thank you very much from E+TV6.